all your position players report?
Yes.
And anybody come in with any offseason injuries or anything like that?
Yeah, so Giancarlo's a little behind, just dealing with some elbow stuff that he dealt with last year. Actually, both elbows, kind of really akin to tennis elbow, and just that he maintained and kind of played through, especially the second half of the year. So we want to make sure that give it that as much time. So we'll kind of probably slow play him a little bit. And then Trent Grisham pulled a hamstring a few weeks ago in training. He's actually doing really well. I would say he's a little behind, but he's been doing baseball activities now for, I think, the last week or two, and he was out running today at, almost full bore. So he shouldn't be too far behind, but definitely won't push it too much. I think that's it.
With Giancarlo, you say a little bit behind. How was he in terms of baseball activities and doing that stuff?
Yeah, he was doing stuff, and then he kind of shut down and just been getting treatments. And been getting treated here. So it's just something we don't want to rush. If we can get to a really good spot and know we're going to have to probably deal with some maintenance with it throughout the year, but just don't want to force anything too early.
You said he was dealing with it last year throughout the season, late in the season.
Yeah, I think more.
October.
I think more late and even October. Yeah. So this is something that if we were full bore in, we'd be grinding away probably. But just want to make sure we give it the proper time and just give ourselves to be the best position throughout the year.
And then you said everybody reported for their physicals today. Is there anyone taking advantage of the CBA clause and waiting until February 22nd, or is everyone expected to be in uniform?
I detest some sarcasm there. I think everyone's here. I think everyone was here today. I expect everyone in tomorrow.
Chris.
When you say maintenance throughout the year, what does that exactly mean?
Just, essentially, I've never had tennis elbow, but essentially that's what he kind of has in both. So maintenance is just kind of, treating it with the modalities that you have available to you. And, you're going to play, you played through some discomfort with it, but just trying to maintain it as best you can and, take advantage of those when he does have an off day.
You don't think this is going to affect his performance in any way, considering you said he was dealing with this in October?
I hope not. Yeah, I don't. It's akin to that, and hopefully we've done things that will help him be in an even better spot. So we'll see.
Great.
Is that something that could affect his availability to start the season?
I don't know. We'll see. Tough to say. I'm not going to put any timeline on it. We're just going to be smart with it and kind of listen to it a little bit.
And it's both elbows that he has.
Both elbows. Yeah.
Great. You said before you don't know about the leadoff hitter yet. Do you know where you'd like to hit Judge? You had him 2 for a lot of his career. Last year you had 3. Year he had broke the record. You had him lead off. Do you talk to him? How do you go about where you want to hit him?
Yeah. We talk about it. Yeah. Right now my lean is second, but I also know he loves hitting third. So I just want it to play out. A lot determines on who's hitting in that leadoff spot, and who's in that 2 or 3 spot. Who else is in that mix? Ultimately to create that balance in the order and try and net as many guys as possible. As good of matchups as we can with protection throughout. So I really haven't decided anything yet, especially because I don't know which way I'm going yet on the leadoff spot, which could factor into where ultimately Aaron hits.
With Bellinger, you look at him as a candidate for leadoff, a candidate to hit third. What's your thoughts on? She mixing righties and lefties.
Yeah. I would say he's a candidate. I think there's 6 names you could throw at me, frankly, right now, that you could say these are the guys that are going to lead off. Maybe it's these guys against a right-handed pitcher. Maybe it's a righty against a left-handed pitcher. Honestly, I could see 6 or 7 scenarios, frankly. I'd love for something to just kind of declare itself and like kind of whack you over the head with it and go from there, and hopefully we settle in, but I'm open to a lot of things right now.
One more on Stanton. What do you thought about what kind of Yankee he's become? I know when he first came over here, people expected him to hit maybe 60, 70 homers because of the year he had for
Yeah.
him. 38 was almost a disappointment the first year, and he's become a big-time postseason player. When he's healthy, he's good, and if you lose him, it could be a really big loss. People almost forget about him last year because of Soto and Judge.
Yeah, I think a lot of people even forget about how good his regular season was and how productive he was and how important he was to us having, I think ultimately scoring the most runs in the league. Like his presence, he missed the 1 month, but in and around that, the other 5 months, he was such a presence, whether it was in that 4-hole or 5-hole, night in and night out. Like he was a threat all the time. And, in a lot of ways, it was probably his most consistent year in the last few, and relatively stayed healthy. He's huge. He's huge for us, especially us that are a little more left-handed right now. You take a big right-handed bat out there, we get a little unbalanced there. So, yeah, he's big, and he was big for us during the regular season. Behind obviously what Aaron and Juan were doing was historic, but his presence in the middle was big.
Is Giancarlo going to have to require any sort of procedure? Did he get anything in the offseason, any injections or anything?
Yeah, he's just kind of doing the treatments now, and I'm expecting him to be okay. It's just a matter of when we want to start really rolling it out and to feel like give us the best chance to, get as much of them as we can.
From what he said, how did it develop from off-season hitting or throwing or lifting?
No, it was last year. It was when it.
So it just.
Yeah, I think it.
When it restarted up and.
Yeah, I think it's just something that's there, and tennis. It's probably just something that's, chronic or that guys that get that have to deal with on some level.
Anyone else? Greg?
What do you think of that for us, second time seeing him? And does you feel like he's closer to where he was when you guys first acquired him?
I do. I feel like just there's that extra crispness to it. I thought his slider today was good, like it has been. To get out there for 2 ups also. Change-up's been a good pitch for him. So, yeah, I think he's really pleased with where he's at physically. Kind of grinding through it the last couple of years. So hopefully we continue to build him and continue to see that next level that you see with guys sometimes being removed from the injury. That shows up in that crispness, but in the command as well.
Will Warren obviously was in your 5th starter competition last year, took it to the end.
Yeah.
Got a taste of the big leagues last season. What growth have you seen in him early this spring compared to, let's say, a year ago?
I don't know. I mean, he flashes everything you want to see. Like his stuff is real, and I make the comparison a lot to Clark Schmidt when we first saw Clark Schmidt. 2020 or whatever. His stuff, and there's hitters and there's pitches that kind of jump off the page where it's boom, but then in and around that there's some mistakes and some polish that's happened. Hopefully, he's just a little more advanced, a little more polished. A little more, he's super competitive, but especially as a starting pitcher, I think it's important that you kind of harness some of that intensity. It's hard to roll out there as a starter for 80, 90, 100 pitches with your hair on fire. And not that he's so much like that, but reining that in a little bit and really controlling, that next pitch and just really being in command of his stuff and knowing what he wants to do, knowing where he can go to stay away from damage in certain situations. But he has the arsenal, he has the stuff. I think he has the makeup and that intensity and toughness that you need. And I think he'll play an important role for us at some point. Whether that's to start or not, I don't know. But I think he's got a chance to be really good.
And you guys still see him as a starter.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Also, I forgot one more injury. Brad Osmus pulled a hammy pretty bad yesterday in a pickup basketball game. Obviously, I advised him not to do that, understandably, but he wanted to take his 55-year-old act out there anyway, and so we're dealing with that a little bit as well.